Have you ever stopped to think about what Apple is? At first glance, you might see it as a tech company since it manufactures phones, laptops, smartwatches, and even its own chips. But if we dig a bit deeper, we have to include services in that list too, like iCloud and AppleCare. Now, have you ever thought of Apple as a bank? It might seem like a step too far, right? Recently, Apple launched a high-interest savings account in partnership with investment bank Goldman Sachs, yielding 4.15% annually. This account offers depositors more than 10 times the average savings rate in the United States, surpassing even competitors, including Goldman Sachs itself. But this isn't Apple's first venture into the financial world. In 2014, they introduced Apple Pay, a mobile payment service allowing users to make contactless NFC payments with their iPhones. Things got even more serious in 2019 when the company launched Apple Card, a fee-free credit card created by Apple and powered by the iPhone. However, believe it or not, the card was issued by Goldman Sachs. Here's the catch. To access the Apple Savings account, you need to have the Apple Card. So, with that in mind, Apple already has a savings account and a credit card. It's starting to sound like a bank, isn't it? Well, not quite, at least not yet. Both Apple's savings account and credit card are offered in partnership with Goldman Sachs, meaning the risk here is primarily taken on by the bank, not Apple, which essentially handles the financial services side of this deal. But what really suggests that Apple is ready to advance in the banking sector isn't the card or the savings account, but rather its buy now, pay later scheme known as Apple Pay Later. Schemes like these are nothing new, not even for Apple. In the UK, for instance, Apple has been offering a financing plan for its products in partnership with Barclays. What sets Apple's scheme apart is that it's in-house. Instead of relying on a major bank like Barclays, Apple is doing the lending directly. And let's face it, Apple has the money for it. According to the latest SEC documents, they have around $16.55 billion available, even after a few turbulent months for the tech industry. Here's the kicker. Apple has been working for years to allow people not only to pay using their iPhones, already achieved through Apple Pay, but also to be paid. Quietly, in the United States, they've already launched something in that direction. The Tap to Pay on the iPhone allows businesses of all sizes to use their iPhones to accept contactless credit and debit card payments and other digital wallets with a simple tap. For now, it still depends on other banks issuing cards to consumers and processing transactions through networks like Visa and MasterCard. However, Apple is moving in the direction of cutting out these intermediaries and creating a closed payment system, not relying on cards from other banks. This raises the question, does Apple actively want to be a bank? It's still unclear. What they've consistently done in their recent history is to strengthen and secure their ecosystem. If you own any Apple device, you know what I'm talking about. They encourage you to buy more things or services from them to get the full experience. This strategy is known as Apple's walled garden. Once you're in the ecosystem, it becomes harder and harder to leave. And here's where one of the biggest issues arises for Apple's banking aspirations: competition, and more specifically, competition regulation. Tech giants, including Apple, are currently under intense scrutiny from competition regulators in the US, UK, and EU, whether it's proprietary charging cables, looking at you, Lightning connector, or high fees on App Store purchases. We all know the power that companies like Apple, Alphabet, and Meta already have over the core aspects of our lives. Now imagine when they fully enter the financial sphere. In fact, regulators are already keeping a close eye on this move. In October, the UK's Financial Conduct Authority announced an inquiry into whether the growing interest of Apple, Amazon, Alphabet and Meta in retail financial services might be used to exploit their ecosystems and lock in consumers. And they're not alone. The European Commission has also opened an investigation into Apple's dominant position in the mobile wallet market, that is, Apple Pay. If Apple were to launch a full-throated move into the banking sector, this would put them at risk of firmly landing in the sights of not only competition regulators but financial regulators as well. And this could make Apple reconsider. It's not clear whether Apple is willing to take such a big risk in a turbulent time for both technology and banking.